Simplicity in its best. A Man Called Otto is a story of a grumpy old man who thinks people around him are just idiots, who can't follow simple rules and do what they're supposed to do. I mean, small simple things like charging the right price for the rope, following the dumpster rule, I mean putting the right garbage in the right bin, reading the road signs and following it, and a lot more. Actually, after watching all that in the beginning, I was like, Mr. Otto, I'm totally with you, man, like totally. And also, the way all this was shot with such a grace and simplicity, it took no time to realize that this film is just going to be awesome. Except that part when I saw that rope hanging, and I was thinking like, is he really wants to end his life because people around him are just idiots and it is hard for him to connect with others? It could be that, but no. Thankfully, it is nothing like that. And later in the film, when we see Otto is about to hang himself, he gets interrupted by a young family who have just moved in. Tommy, Marisol, and their 2 daughters. Otto helps them to back up their trailer. Not because he's a gentleman or something, no. He actually was in the middle of doing his business. I mean, about to hang himself. And then he hears those noises and then he's like, oh, who are these people and what are they doing here? Do they have a permit or something? So he goes out to check on that. And he learns that they have just moved in the neighborhood and he sees that this guy, Tommy, is a very bad driver.
Oh my God.
And that scene, how can we forget that? Otto says to Tommy, stop. Get out of the car. How could you make through life so far without knowing how to back up a trailer, huh? Idiot. But Tommy Marisol is such a sweet couple, they don't mind whatever Otto says to them. Tommy is more like, I'm sorry, thank you kind of guy. And Marisol, well, she is something hard to put in words. But all I can say, the best neighbor you can get.
I brought you some food.
Okay. Bye.
Are you always this unfriendly?
I am not unfriendly.
Okay, you're not. Every word you say is like a warm cuddle.
So later in the film, we see Otto tries to end his life like over and over again, and he fails every time. And every time he does that, we see those flashbacks. When first time we see those flashbacks, it's like, oh, this film is not just about a grumpy old man living alone and messing up with everybody. It is something bigger than that. And Otto, he also saves the life of a man, and that scene, brilliant. It feels so real, like something is really happening in front of you. See, first our focus was on Otto when we see him in that railway station. In our mind it was like he wants to jump in front of the train to end his life. Then this focus shift from Otto to that man when he comes in frame, because we can feel like there's something wrong with that guy, he's sick or something. And then just like boom, he falls down. And just pay attention here. There are many people there, but nobody jumps to help that man to save his life, except Otto, who was there to end his life. And through those flashbacks, we learn about Otto's past life. First, we see that moment when young Otto meets Sania for the first time in that railway station. He goes after her to return that book she accidentally drops. And then he's in that train and he's just looking for her. And he finds her and then he's just looking at her. And Sania, she's also looking at him and then she's like, oh, is that my book? Then Otto says, oh yeah, I saw you dropping it. That whole conversation, that whole moment was so simple but magical. And Otto is in the wrong train because he's simply there to return that book and he doesn't have enough money to buy the ticket to the next station. Then Sania helps him with some change and there he gets that lucky coin as well. And in the next flashback, we see Otto goes back to return the money. But Sania makes him invite her to the dinner and then they go for dinner in that restaurant. And there, that whole conversation is so simple yet magical. They're having this very simple conversation, trying to get to know each other, and then Sania asks Otto like, why didn't you order the main course? Then Otto says with utmost innocence like, "Oh, I ate at home." Why? "Oh, so you could order whatever you wanted." He says, "I ate at home so you could order whatever you wanted." For me, that dialogue was so moving, I had tears in my eyes. And when he further says like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't pass the physical and I don't know what I'm gonna do in life. I think I should go." And when he was about to leave, Sania holds his hand, and on that my reaction was like, yes, 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 please don't let him go, he's a good guy. And when she kisses him, I was like, yes, yes, I was literally jumping. I was feeling so happy, like I have achieved something so big in my life. See, this is called the magic of storytelling and filmmaking. And I was so invested that I could feel their every emotion. When they were happy, I was happy for them. And when they were sad, I had tears in my eyes. And then in another flashback, we see Otto proposes Sania for marriage. And she says yes. And then this comes to your mind like, oh, if everything was going so well, then what exactly happened? Did he do something stupid? Or what? And later we see that bus scene. The bus crashes due to faulty brakes, resulting in miscarriage and also makes Sania paralyzed. I think this is the reason why Otto decides to give Marisol driving lessons. Because he doesn't want an idiot to do that, because that could lead to miscarriage or something. You see, Otto is not a grumpy old man, he's just broken from inside. Later in the film we learn that Sania passed away like 6 months ago. That is why he wants to end his life, because he wants to join her. Marisol, she tries to convince him to move on, but Otto, being Otto, he doesn't want to move on. He's like, there's nothing before and there's nothing after Sania. And during his last attempt, Otto sees Sania, and he realizes that even she wants him to live on. Because Sania wants it, so he decides to live on. And he also decides to help his friend Ruben and Anita to keep their home. Because their son is in abroad and there's this guy who wants to take over their property because they want to build condos there. And how can we forget about the friendship between Otto and Ruben? How they become friends and how they fall apart. In the beginning, there's this dialogue Otto says to Ruben, like, "I still haven't forgiven you." And in the later part, we see Otto says to Ruben, like, "I'm sorry. I was so caught up with my problems and I thought nobody cares about my problems, so I stopped caring about others. I'm sorry. A friend shouldn't do that." Otto also helped Timothy, the former student of Sania. First time he helps him to repair his bike, and second time he let him crash at his place when his father kicks him out because he's a transgender and his father is ashamed of that. You see, this film is not just about Otto. The film is actually touching many issues of life in a very graceful way, and it teaches this lesson that life is all about helping each other and making family and friends on the way. The real magic of life is in those movements that we live through. In the end, everything goes well. It's like a happy ending, but also in the end, Otto dies because of his big heart. I mean, because of the size of his heart is bigger than normal, which is a medical condition. But that scene, just look at that scene. It feels so real and it's brilliant. Everything about this film feels so real. So getting back to that scene. One day, Tommy sees that, oh, Otto hasn't shoveled his path. Because he always does that, because we know Otto. We're talking about a man, when he decides to end his life, before that he makes sure to disconnect gas, electricity and telephone. Yeah. So when Tommy informs about that to Marisol, like, oh, Otto hasn't shoveled his path, then she runs to check on him, followed by Tommy. And they find him dead. And there's this letter. It says he has left his bank account, his house, and that Chevy for them, with the instruction that not to let Tommy drive that Chevy. A Man Called Otto is a well-written and a well-directed film. Tom Hanks wins the heart with his delightful performance as the leading character, Otto Anderson, along with Mariana Trevino as Marisol, Rachel Keller as Sania, and Truman Hanks as young Otto Anderson, plus all other cast members as well. With no action, tons of visual effect or any kind of bullshit, and just with a simple story and by totally relying on a strong script with many key moments and solid performances, this film, A Man Called Otto, proves that a simple film like this can be way more effective than those high-grossing garbage films that we usually get to see. And all that makes it a must-watch. So for the rating, I would say 10 out of 10. Yeah. Because I don't see any problem in the film. It completely fulfills its purpose as a film. Having said that, this film is not for everyone. Especially those people who only watch a film for fun, please avoid watching this one. And who are these idiots who are giving this film like 1-star and 2-star rating, and they're saying that this film is so boring and it is only for people above 60. I'm not 60 and I love this film. I can only wonder like what kind of film they like. That's all for now. I hope you have enjoyed this video. See you soon with another video. Until then, goodbye, stay safe, stay healthy, and please respect elders. Next time when you see an old man, just don't think that it's a grumpy old man or a woman. Just remember, there was a time they were young, just like you and me, and they had all that passion, those dreams to be something. So don't underestimate them. Yeah.